Our 2018 Alpine 3400 RS came with these solid step stairs by Lippert. When we first saw these at the show, when we ordered this Alpine, we thought, wow, those are awesome, love it. Our previous fifth wheel had the kind that recessed into the side and then just hang off the bottom. Those weren't bad, you know, but they didn't touch the ground. That was the beauty of these things, is they're nice and solid. We love them. However, we've kind of grown tired of them, and I'm going to change them out today. The reason we're changing them out is because two things. We always try to, we always do, sweep these off, but sometimes you just can't get everything off, and when you flip them up, it makes a mess inside. And then if it's raining out, then you really got a mess. And the other reason is because they take up a lot of room on the inside when they're closed. And believe it or not, sometimes when we're on some of our trips, we're packed pretty full, and I have wanted to put things inside that door for travel and really not been able to because these take up so much room. So I found an alternative, and we are going to see how this works. So we're going to put in these stairs. They're made by Tork-Lift International. They're called the GlowStep Revolution Ultimate Step System. This looks like a pretty straightforward install. We'll have to cut into the aluminum skirting to make a spot back here. I've already checked underneath, and the factory frame has the mounting locations for the Tork-Lift, so I don't think I'll have to do any drilling. I hope not. But first step is going to be to remove the old steps. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this gas strut right here, which helps take some of the weight off of the steps when they're coming in and coming out. When the steps are down, this shock is in the loaded position. There's an awful lot of tension on that, so you're really careful with that. So I've loosened that nut, but I'm going to try to put the stairs back up and extend the strut so that it is not under so much pressure and tension. Gotta be careful, there's an awful lot of force built up there. Okay, you can see here I have the steps like halfway up, and what this does is this causes the rod inside the cylinder to completely extend, and should take a lot of the pressure. There could still be a little bit, but it's certainly going to be a lot less than it was when it was basically in the cocked position. So we'll go ahead now and remove it. I've also taken the cover off of the strut. All right, successfully got this out. One thing I want to add, I didn't show it in the video, I was a little busy. Make sure you have somebody holding up the other end of that. My wife was here helping, so without that, as soon as you remove this rod, those babies are going to drop to the ground. I removed the top of the strut. It was easier. You just peel back this little retaining clip on the top, and then it's a ball and socket here, and then I just popped it off. And when I did, there was about another couple of inches of travel, so just be aware of that. But once that came off, we were able to lower the stairs down, and so now we work on getting them out. All right, so the gas assist shock or strut is now out. The next step for me was to retract the stairs and lock them back in. Make sure you do that. I will tell you, without that strut, these stairs are a lot heavier than you might imagine. It was pretty heavy to lift them back up. So without that strut there to help you, you don't want that working over your head. Without these being locked in, make sure they're good. And then now the only thing holding it on are these screws on the bottom. They'll be the next to come out, and then I should be able to lift the stairs away. Don't forget your number 2 square head bit. If you don't have a number 2 square head bit, you definitely have a few of them, because there's an awful lot of stuff on these campers that uses that bit. All right, stairs are out. It was pretty easy. It took me about 10 minutes to do. They are heavy, like I said. I did get it out by myself. but they're probably pushing 80, 90 pounds. So be careful and get some help if you don't feel comfortable. The next step is I need to cut into the skirt to access the place where it's going to go. I'm going to have to relocate this convenient light here. I have a plan for that. And one thing that I want to point out, and I knew this going in and I'm fine with it, when you remove the screws, you're going to have these holes that went through the linoleum. There's probably some ways you could fix that. I have a real simple way, and here it is. That's it. Just going to cover it up with our little rug. I don't think it's going to be an issue. So let's take a look at underneath where this is all going to go. From the factory, yours could be different, but our 2018 3400 RS from the factory, Lippert puts in these gusset plates or support plates, or however you want to call it, for traditional external stairs. There's one there, and there's one back here. They're pre-drilled with a variety of different patterns, and I talked with Tork-Lift, and we verified some measurements, and this should not be any kind of issue for us. I'm expecting that it'll fit right in there. The only possible issue is I have these hoses for the middle hydraulic stabilizer. Could be an issue. If they end up being an issue, I may have to do something with an elbow or something to. It's going to be very, very close. I really won't know until I get it up there. And then, as I said earlier, these pieces right here, and they're just simple pieces of metal. They're here every so many feet to keep the unit from this skirting from flexing. So once we get it apart, I'll see if I need to add more to that. But that's just a simple, lightweight piece of metal that goes. Obviously, I'll have to relocate this light. But that's pretty much it. I just need to cut into here, and I'm going to do some measurements and figure out where I need to cut. So I made my first cut, and I didn't measure the first one because I'm just going to cut the center away so I can see better. I know I'm not going to need any of this. The actual cut's going to be more over here, and I'll make that nicer. But for now, I just wanted to be able to access it and get some light back there, so I'm going to cut a centerpiece out. I'm using this pretty cool attachment from my DeWalt drill. A buddy of mine let me borrow it, and it works pretty good. All right, just got the new stairs out of the box. Nice hardware kit that comes with it. I haven't opened up the instructions yet, but it's pretty straightforward. It is designed to bolt right on. All right, so I got them installed. I have some trim work, obviously, to do around the edges there. I did make one vertical slice further than I meant to, but I'm going to have a plastic trim piece made to cover all of that. But it was a pretty straightforward install. 2 5/16 bolts up into the existing hardware that came from the factory, the frame flanges that you bolt into. But these things are pretty nice. You'll have to get the measurements for your particular Alpine if you decide to do this. I know this isn't for everybody for sure, but for us, I think we're going to like it a lot better. These do touch the ground. They're fully adjustable, so you don't get that feeling where these things are floating at the end. I went with the 5-step set of stairs. These are modular. You can take a step out, you can add a step. The amount of steps that you get is recommended by the measurement, the vertical measurement from the door frame, bottom of the door frame to the ground, but their website explains all that. Aircraft aluminum, real sturdy, glow in the dark stickers on them, which I understand last a long time and work pretty well. So we'll see how this goes, but I'm real happy with it so far. This is adjustable. You can actually lower and raise the top step. This is the top right now, but you can lower it, and you can also pull these out if you want a less steep. You just pull these out, and now it's a more gradual incline going in. So however you want it, it's very, very, very flexible. If you're parked somewhere at a gasoline store and you don't have enough room to really get these out, you can actually pull them down darn near vertical and climb it up like a ladder. So real neat design. All right, as you can see, the stairs are in, and I'm about to clean this mess up. As I said earlier, cutting the metal, the aluminum skirt, was the most difficult thing to do for me. I didn't really have the proper tools to make a nice straight cut, but I did it the best that I could, knowing that I was going to cover it with a trim anyway. So, and I've already drilled a couple pilot holes and made some test fittings. So what I did is I got myself a 4x8 sheet of 1/8 inch thin ABS plastic, and I drew out the measurements that I need to perfectly fit my spot. And I took those measurements to a local machine shop that has a CNC machine, and for a few bucks they cut this out perfectly, and you'll see here in a minute. That's going to cover us up and make it look really nice. Our Alpine came with this yellow exterior step light, or like they call it a security light or something like that, or exterior light. And it wasn't bad. It used to sit up underneath the stairs, and it put a little bit of light on the steps, which was better than nothing. On with something that I think is going to be even a little bit better for this, and I got it from eTrailer online for about 15-20 bucks, something like that, and it's a downward facing LED step light. So I'm going to be installing that in the very top, and that should shine all the way down the stairs. Now, the new step light did present an interesting situation, which was how to wire it, and again, trying to keep as few holes in the original factory envelope as I possibly could. I didn't really want to drill through the back of this wall, because if you look underneath there, it's thick, there's multi-layers, and there's basically a fabric bottom to this, and I didn't want to disturb that. So what I did do was, there's a gasket with this light, which gave me just enough room to go behind the new ABS panel, but between the existing aluminum panel, and it fit in there real nice. So all I'm going to do now is fish this back over the top of the new step, and it's going to disappear, and it will connect to the original wire. Because I'm drilling into the side of the camper here with the mount for there's only going to be a few screws, but there will be a few to put this trim plate in and the new light. This does go through the wrapped, basically waterproof environment, so to be careful with that, each one of these few screws that I have here have been coated with ProFlex ERV sealant, so that hopefully that'll seal those little holes up. Shouldn't be an issue. And here I am putting the finishing touches on it. I got some press-on trim material, so there aren't any exposed edges on the part of the aluminum that I cut. And I don't really need to, and I'm going to go ahead and just so it looks nice, I'm going to run it all the way across the bottom of the plastic trim and around the other side, so it'll look nice when it's done. All right, well, it's all done. Everything's installed. The light's working. It should be nice. That's what it looks like stowed. To take them out, all you do is lift this lever up, pull it out. They're adjustable. Your first step can be one of 3 positions, so you can go all the way up to there. So your first step starts there, or all the way down as low as there. I've found for our Alpine, the middle step is the perfect one, and then it's just a matter of pulling them down. And that's it. Put them back, it's the same way. These are adjustable. You can add steps. We started out, I bought the 5-step kit, but it turns out I only needed 4. But you can add or remove a step depending on how high your camper sits. The bottom steps do touch the ground, which is the main thing, so they're nice and sturdy. Nice, not that flexy feel. And then to put them up, you just raise them up. And then definitely put the safety travel in so they don't pop out on the way down. That's it. The only thing I have left to do now is I'm going to add a support behind here going up to the frame. I don't want the wind to catch that. It's pretty sturdy, but the wind's going to be hammering right into there. So there's you can see how they brace them from the factory. It's just a piece of, basically a piece of almost leftover aluminum or something that they put in here. So I'm going to just add one of those to the front of this little short section that I made when I cut this out. But other than that, it's good to go. The front piece doesn't need it. It's braced close enough by, and it's also, the wind's trailing off that side. It's really not coming in there. So once that's in, it's ready to roll.